We live in a world that tells us to look outward, to fix, to achieve, to chase. But what if the only way to know what is real is to turn completely inward? When I first heard about Vipassana, I was skeptical. 10 days of silence? No phone? No writing? No eye contact? I thought that's impossible. But something in me knew I'd have to try. So I've been talking about going inward and finding inside of you what is real in this world of noise. But how do you turn inside? And how do you find out what is real there? In 2009, I spent 10 days on a silent Vipassana meditation retreat. It changed my life. You learn to observe your body, every single sensation of every cell. But why observe the body? Well, because thoughts are influenced, emotions are triggered, and it is often impossible to know what is truly yours. But your body is different. Sensations are real, immediate, and the doorway to your inner self. When I did my first Vipassana in 2009, I thought I went crazy. Honestly, it's the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. I would rather prefer to have a painful dentist appointment or give birth. Oh gosh, yeah, it was really, really, really difficult. And what is so difficult? Well, the thing is, when you are not allowed to talk to anyone around you or make eye contact, and you cannot write to pass time or look on your phone, so the only thing you have is your own mind blabbering about and the meditations where you have to sit still for an hour. Yeah, maybe it is possible to imagine that that is hard. So I remember that the first 3 days, I had so much pain also in sitting still for an hour. It would already start like after minutes, but nothing. There's no clock there, so you have no way of knowing how far you are in the meditation. So an hour stretches endlessly. It's quite daunting. So sitting in that meditation, I would feel my sensations, and there's a guiding voice that is spoken out of an audio that helps you along. But I got into so much pain because my body had so many unseen things, trauma and all these things packed in my muscles, and it had to be released and it had to be observed. And that's what happens. And it was so painful. It was excruciating. And I was trying to sit still. It was really difficult. And I would look around me sometimes secretly to see how other people were going. But everybody seemed to be so at peace, and it seemed to be so natural. And on the 10th day, when you're allowed to talk again, that is when you hear from other people how hard it was for them too, how much pain they'd been through. Yeah, I think with my first Vipassana, it was around the 6th day that I realized, oh my God, I'm over half. And then I could let my mind go. I could finally stop all the blabbering, all the screaming in my head, and just surrender. I have a very high regard for people who manage to do this from the first day. Because for 6 days I was resisting Vipassana completely. And from the 6th day on, that's when I could surrender. And that was a very nice feeling. Yeah. And that is when I started to see so much more. I could see so much further. I could see how the sensations were, showing me my emotions. And that I realized that sensations are truth. They are the only truth there is. All the thought and everything else is just blabber. Blabber in space. I also realized that my mind was not the problem. It was my identification with my mind. Yeah, beneath every thought, there was this physical echo, like a tightening, a warmth, a vibration, which is the sensations. And observing that, it just changed everything. Vipassana is not only hard, it is also, there were times when I could feel like, as if my cells were just aligned suddenly and everything was humming in my body. And it felt like a flow, like something so wonderful. So it's not all misery. It might sound very boring because your mind is constantly asking to be entertained. And feeding the mind is an addiction. And breaking that addiction, it takes determination. Or as the Vipassana teacher Gunkai said, work diligently, patiently, and persistently. After 10 days, my mind was a lot quieter. And this is just the beginning of finding what is truly real inside. You don't have to go on a 10-day retreat to start, with observing your sensations. Although I would recommend it for sure. I would recommend Vipassana to anyone and everyone in this world because there's so much to unlearn and so much to let go of that it's really hard. But you can begin, by noticing how your body responds to small moments like, a tense jaw, a flutter in the chest, or tightening in the abdomen, or a warmth spreading when you breathe. That's the same practice, awareness in motion. Knowing what's real inside you is not about finding new beliefs. It's about uncovering what is already true. And your body is your compass, and awareness is your guide, and everything else is just noise.